Before we get started, I just want to say that originally tonight's video was going to be a gaming video as always, but man, I was up way later than I should have been last night, so I'm just really tired today, and I got this idea for a video a while ago, and now that I'm in this state where, you know, I'm really tired, because when I'm tired I tend to be a bit more blunt, a bit more honest, and just truthfully say what's on my mind without any filters. I mean, for the most part, that's how I am. I usually talk without a filter anyway, and, you know, anybody who knows me knows that, but especially when I'm tired, it comes out in full force. But today, I just wanted to talk about something that I feel like not enough people think about, I guess, or talk about maybe, and that is knowing your worth. And I'll share the moment that made me realize that I'm worth a lot more than this world would have me believe. So, I was working at McDonald's. This would have been almost 10 years ago now, going on 7-8 years. Keep in mind, I was just a teenager at the time, but it was this time I was working from like 11 to 7 or something like that, and it was absolutely packed. You know, it's just usually how it was, especially on the weekends, you know, just have a lot of people come through around lunchtime and whatnot, and I remember I was on grill, and I was busting ass unlike anybody else. I mean, I was getting these burgers out at like records rate, even my managers were impressed seeing how fast I was working. And I look to my left, and I see other teenagers my age scrolling on their phones, pulling their phones out occasionally. You know, the manager would snap at them, but as soon as they turn their back, you know, they pull their phone back out and get back to it, or they were working really slow, constantly needed to, you know, kind of, you know, get a little push from the managers like, hey, all right, we need to speed things up. You know, the drive-thru's getting backed up. We need to get these sandwiches out at a faster rate. And I was making the same amount of money as those people. In some cases, some of them were actually making more money than me, and we were scheduled for like the same amount of time. So tell me, in what conceivable universe where I am putting in triple, if not quadruple the effort, doing double, if not triple the quality of work, and am making the same, if not less money than some people that are doing much less than me? How is that fair or right or logical in any of the 9 realms? And so it carried on. You know, I worked at multiple fast food joints. So I worked at McDonald's. For a time, I worked at Culver's, and when I worked there, you know, the same thing happened. You know, I'd be busting ass trying to take the trash out, get back in the kitchen, start making sandwiches, and just really trying to do the best of my job. And you know, there would be teenagers my age doing less of a job or just not doing as good, or, you know, like, and I'm not expecting everybody to bust ass 24/7 or to, meet my quality standard of work. But I also expect people when you're in the work field to, you know, not dick off and to actually do their job, because there's a difference between trying and just, you know, needing some more time to get better at it, and then just not trying at all. And that's, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm referring to. It also doesn't help that the Culver's I worked at happened to be quite racist. The managers and other people working there weren't very kind to me because of my race, which, you know, I thought we were past this whole race thing, but I guess, you know, in some cases we aren't. You know, I'm not about to sit here preaching politics and whatnot, but I will say this: I don't care if you're white, if you're black, if you're yellow, if you're purple like Barney the fucking dinosaur. We're all human beings and we deserve to be treated respectfully. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what you identify as. We are all human beings. I don't give a fuck who you are, what you identify as on the outside. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. You have a soul, you have a heart, that means you're a human being. I just want to know your first name and get to know you. I don't care about all this other bullshit, and anybody that judges beyond that is a piece of shit. That being said, I never let it get to me, though. Like, people can say whatever they want about me. You know, you can call me, like, a chink. You can call me a gook. I don't care. You can fucking make jokes about my slant eyes. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. It is what it is. My life's too short to give a fuck about what anybody says. I remember actually ended up getting fired from Culver's, which, you know, that's something I don't talk about a lot, but I did get fired one time, and it's because I had a reasonable crash out. I was getting sick of people, you know, like fucking, you know, just like picking on me, and I got tired of feeling like I wasn't doing enough and being treated like garbage, and my answers not being, you know, or my questions not being answered in a thoughtful manner, you know, people just kind of leaving me hanging, so I freaked the fuck out, and like, I had a spoon of like hot mushrooms or some shit, and I like slung it against the wall because I was pissed off. And yeah, you know, I didn't even crash out that bad. It's not like I was in the kitchen flipping stuff or screaming. I just kind of got pissed off one time, and like, I had a spoonful of mushrooms and I just flicked it at the wall because I was pissed, and then I cleaned it up. But yeah, apparently that was enough to get me fired, so it's like, yeah, whatever, fuck you guys too. The job was fucking shit anyway. Nobody wants to walk around smelling like butter buns. And then there was a time where I worked in a retirement home, because basically what had happened is I actually started there through community service, because, you know, I got in trouble with the law at one point, and you know, if you know me and you know my history, you know all this. But thankfully, I will say this nowadays, I actually don't have like a record anymore. I got everything expunged from my record from back in in the day, because this was all when I was a teenager. I was just doing stupid teenager things. It wasn't anything heinous, you know, just drinking underage, out past curfew. What was it? Like, there was the one where there was like some trespassing because me and my friends jumped the gate to this what do you want to call it? What do they call that? Where there's like a football field and then there's like the bleachers and whatnot. I don't know what the actual term for that is. I forget. It's too early in the morning and I'm too sleep deprived. But it was just one in our town, you know. Me and my buddies, we just fucking jumped the fence and then we were just hanging out on the bleachers, you know. So we got busted for that. Oh, one of my buddies did vandalize like the one fucking thing. So, you know, it was just really stupid stuff like that. But through like community service and whatnot, I did get everything expunged off my records. My record's clean nowadays, but there was a time in my hometown where I knew all the cops on a first name basis and they knew me on a first name basis, which was kind of cool because anytime people were messing with us and stuff, you know, the cops, I will say this, obviously, I can't speak for every cop in America, but there's two kinds of cops in America. There's the good cops, and then there's the bad cops. You know, it really is usually as black and white as that. You do have some kind of, like, middle-of-the-road corrupt ones, but, you know, it's usually up to the good and bad. And there was a lot of really good cops in my hometown, because while, yes, they kind of, you know, busted my balls a bit, it was in good faith. They cut me a lot of breaks. If they wanted to lock me up, oh my god, they could have. But they cut me a lot of breaks. They put a lot of good words in, you know, when it came to, like, you know, because I had to talk to a judge and whatnot. They put a good word in for me, and they really had my back. So, I don't want to say my hometown by name, but, you know, if any of those cops happen to be watching this video somehow, just know that I really, you know, respect the hell out of y'all, and I appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, I ended up having to do some community service as a result of that, and I ended up going to a retirement home for a bit, and I was working in the kitchen. You know, I wasn't, like, dealing with the actual, you know, people. I mean, I kind of was to some extent because I helped making the food. I did a lot of cleaning stuff, and then when it came to be, like, dinner time and whatnot, I'd, like, help take out the food and all that, and that was interesting because obviously, you know, I won't lie, back in high school, you know, I was a decent looking guy, and so you had like the elderly people, especially the elderly women, low-key hitting on me, and I never knew how to take that. I was like, ma'am, I'm not just underage, I'm under your age. That was actually one of my only positive working experiences from back then. Like, that was actually really cool. The one head chef, you know, he was really cool as well. Obviously not gonna say like any specific names or anything, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but you know, he cut me a lot of smoke breaks, because, you know, that's when I was still smoking cigarettes. He knew I was dealing with a lot of shit, so he was like, hey buddy, you're good, go take a smoke. And I remember on my last day there, actually, he came outside with me, and, you know, he had a smoke with me because he was getting off at the same time. We just sat out there, shot the shit, and he was like, I just remember the conversation I had with him always stuck with me because it was so real, and it was one of those moments where I was like, dude, what am I doing with my life? That was part of why I got my shit together, because if you knew me back then, and, you know me now, which nobody knows me now, so you wouldn't, so, you know, it's kind of pointless for me to say, because I cut off everybody from my past, really. You know, it's just one of those moments where I sat there questioning, and just kind of sitting there smoking my cigarette, just kind of sitting on the side of a curve. We were just sitting there as the cars passed by, and he was telling me, like, you know, Nathan, like, you're a good kid, man. Like, you really got to get your shit together, you know, like, you know, I know you're just out here having fun, hanging out with your buddies, doing all this, but just get through school, just keep it together, don't get in trouble with the cops, and just, you know, do whatever you're passionate about, you know. For me, I've always been the lone wolf type, you know, I've always kind of carved my own path. That being said, I have had a few, like, role models, per se, along the way, and even though that was somebody I only knew for a short time, you know, I respected the hell out of him. He was a good guy, and, yeah, that always stuck with me. You know, it's just like, maybe it is time I get my shit together. Maybe it is time I kind of look at who I'm running with and what I'm doing out here. This is totally random, but I just realized that I accidentally started this recording in 30 FPS. I have this new camera, and it sucks because I manually have to set it to 60 FPS. It's a tiny thing, nobody's gonna notice, but now I noticed. God damn it, I wanted the fluidity of 60 FPS in this video. And then I worked at Subway for a time, and that was, you know, that was pretty smooth sailing, actually. That was the last job I had. In fact, I did some Subway vlogs. If you scroll back way back in the channel, I have like a video of me making like a meatball sub. I might re-upload that as like a short and a TikTok here one of these days. But, you know, that was actually a decent working experience, so I can't complain too much about that. You know, pay was fair, most people did their jobs, can't really complain about that. You know what, no, I'm stopping this recording. We're gonna relaunch the video in 60 FPS, just wait. There it is, baby, that's 60 FPS, look at me moving in all my smooth glory now. Alright, I know that was really petty, but I'm petty, so there it is. But anyway, now I guess we'll kind of move on and talk about my school experience, because now, you know, the video is gonna start to wind down now a little bit. Most of it was just kind of, you know, most of this video I just wanted to talk about knowing your worth when it comes to work in your career and whatnot, and we'll kind of get to that again at the end just to, you know, round it all out. But another time that I learned to know my worth was in school, because I remember my one principal told me, just square to my face. You'll never be shit. Running with all the wrong people, doing all this stuff, it won't ever amount to nothing, this, that, and the other. And, that was just another one of those moments where I was like, who the hell are you to tell me who my future is? You know what I mean? Like, who the hell are you to tell me how my life's gonna go? Who the hell are you to tell me who I'm running with? And, there's some truth to it. I won't lie. But at the same time, I mean, that's another aspect of knowing your worth, right? Like, never let anybody else tell you what your worth is. You gotta know what your worth is deep down. And, there's always advice to be taken. There's always lessons to be learned. There's always things that you can learn from hearing outside perspectives. But at the end of the day, it's really up to you to kind of carve your own path and find out what you want to do with your life, where you want to go, what your dreams and aspirations are, and, just follow it. Even if nobody really believes in you, because, my whole life I've never really had anybody that, like, truly believed in me. Maybe besides, like, my mom and, like, you know what I mean? Like my younger brother or something. I had a few good teachers along the way, too, like in high school and middle school especially. And, I even had a few elementary school teachers that were actually pretty cool. And, I ended up talking to just even beyond my time there. My school hated me, though, man. I was such a bad kid and such a bad teenager. I got expelled twice from my high school. Or, I'm sorry, I got expelled once in middle school, and then they let me back in because I was going into high school. They wanted me to start fresh. I got through midway through the year, and then I got expelled again. So that was a whole thing. Another aspect I wanted to talk about this whole worth thing was with family, because I've always been the black sheep in my family, right? Like, everybody in my family, they'll play nice to my face, but as soon as I'm not in the same room, I know what kind of conversations take place. I've seen the messages. I've heard the phone calls. I know these things. I hear these things, and it's okay. That's why I don't interact with anybody from my family, because as far as I'm concerned, my family isn't my family anyway, because family isn't family. Family's not blood. Family is the people that are there for you, where they're like your home away from home. No matter what's going on, you'll be all right as long as they're by your side. You know what I mean? And my family's never been that. Never. There's a few people in my family that are cool that I like. Yes, there's a few people in my family that I genuinely love. Yes. But for most of them, they're just kind of backstabbing pieces of shit, and it's just, I'm good. Was I a bad teenager? Yes. Was I drinking a lot? Yes. Did I have a lot of problems? Yes. Was I getting in trouble with the cops? Yes. Was I getting in trouble in school a lot? Yes. Did that mean that I deserve to be treated like shit? No. Nobody ever does. But was I? Yes. And that's why, my family gets so confused nowadays. They're like, why doesn't Nathan ever come around? We haven't seen him in like 5 years. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Y'all treat me like shit. And that's another aspect of knowing your worth that not a lot of people talk about, or not enough people acknowledge. If you don't want to surround yourself with certain people, or if you just don't like being around certain people or the way that they make you feel, you don't need to be around them. Like, just don't. It's easier that way. Like, if, obviously there's certain circumstances, like if you're a teenager or you're a kid, obviously sometimes you don't have control of that, if your parents make you go one thing or another. But once you're an adult, you don't got to do shit. You can cut off your own parents if you want to. Like me, I haven't talked to my dad in like 10 years now, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, one day I'd like to maybe rebuild that bridge, per se. But at the moment, just because of how everything was between me and him, I haven't talked to my dad in like 10 years. As for the rest of my family, most of my aunts and uncles and even my grandparents, nothing. The next aspect I wanted to talk about was with friends, and I feel like a lot of us can relate to this before I even say anything. Lies, backstabbing, dumb drama, the list goes on and on. I've had very few friends in my life that were actually just my friend, and there wasn't like an asterisk to it, you know what I mean? Most times when I've had friends in the past, it's like, oh, you got money right now, let's be friends. Oh, your music's doing well, let's be friends. Oh, you're the popular kid in school right now, let's be friends. Oh, you got this, this, and this, let's be friends. Or, oh, I'm trying to make this one person mad or jealous, so let me be friends with you. Like, it's just, if you like, everybody like knew what I was gonna say about all this before I even said it, you know what I mean? Like, everybody can relate to this to some extent. I've just dealt with a lot of fake people. I've always seen it as, like, the smaller your circle, the better. And that's why for the last 5 years, I really had nobody in my circle. There's always been, like, a few people, right? Like, here and there. But barely. Most things I just keep to myself. Anytime I'm dealing with stuff in life, I keep it to myself. Most time I just spend by myself. That's changed a little bit in recent months, just for various reasons. But Yeah, you know, really the smaller the circle, the better. I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily about the size of the circle. I'd just say it's about the quality of the circle. Just make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people that don't suck. And then the final aspect of this is one that's like kind of goofy, but one that I feel like more people should probably think about or talk about, and that's just like relationships in general. Just know your worth, right? Like I'm talking like romantically. You know, if you know me, then you already know this whole spiel. I've been single for 6 years now, and that's entirely been by choice, just because I mean like, well, you know, letter A, this face ain't this face ain't getting me far anyway. But no, like seriously. Just because every relationship I've ever been in, and this isn't, I'm not one of those people where it's like, oh, I've only experienced bad things with this, so now I'm never going to do it again, or I'm intentionally avoiding certain things because of that. I'm not like that at all. I'm in the firm belief that every experience is a new experience, a fresh slate, no matter what happened in the past. That doesn't mean that new people or new things or whatever is going to happen again or repeat itself. You know what I mean? But at the same time with relationships, yeah, man, I won't lie, every relationship I've ever been in, I've been cheated on, I've been lied to, I've been used, manipulated a bit. You know, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't, I don't know, man. Like, but then the heartbreak when it's all over, like, I don't know, man. That's why it's easier for me to just simp over anime waifus and like, you know, just play a bunch of video games and, you know, just be like, you know what, nah, Tifa Lockhart's my wife. You know, that's a lot easier of a reality than fucking reality. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe if like one day somebody doesn't want to fuck me over or use me or manipulate me or cheat on me, then yeah, sure, I'm open at any time. Like it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm not waiting for nothing. I'm just chilling, man. I'm just existing. So like if it happens, cool, but if not, I mean, it is what it is, man. I got Pikachu, I got my video games. Like it is what it is. I'm just existing. I'm just coasting. I'm good. And I feel like that's the final aspect to all this. Just know your worth in life in general and just acknowledge that you're good. You got clothes on your back, you got internet because you're watching this video, you probably got a roof over your head, you probably got food in your stomach, and if you don't, then obviously those are needs that need to be met. But assuming you do have all those things, and I mean, even at the end of the day, even if you don't, I mean, you're still alive, and damn it, even if things aren't going the greatest in your life right now, regardless of your circumstances, life is a blessing. The fact that you're alive to experience it is a blessing and a gift all on its own, and sometimes it'll be going better, sometimes it'll be going worse, such is the ebb and flow of life. But, yeah, just really learn to love and appreciate every day and be grateful for it. And know your worth, no matter what it is. Whether we're talking relationships, friends, family, school, work. Just know your worth and know that if you set your mind to it, you can achieve it, no matter what it is. Because for me, you know, I dropped out of high school when I was 16 years old, and I decided to pursue YouTube full-time. You know, everybody told me don't do it, but I did it. And it's working out just fine. It's my full-time job now, and I'm doing some other stuff on the side. And not only am I financially stable, I'm more financially better off than I would have been if I would have listened to everybody that told me I'd never be shit. If I listened to all the friends that ended up fucking me over. If I stuck with all the bullshit relationships I was in before. If I would have stuck with all those cruddy jobs or stuck with school or whatever. I followed my dreams, I followed my heart, and it worked out. Am I telling you to drop out of the school this minute and pursue Twitch streaming? Hell no. Stay in school if you can. But for somebody like me where I was at the end of my rope anyway, it all worked out. You know, YouTube worked out. I got other, you know, side revenue streams that I do on the side now to help keep me afloat and to keep things stable. And, yeah, it's great. I'm happy. Like, I know I'm very nonchalant most of the time, and I'm like very like, you can't tell if I'm sad, angry, pissed off, or happy most of the time. But I mean, especially today, because I'm just really tired. But genuinely, like, I'm happy. You know, I have my bits where I'll be like really depressed or anxious or whatever, but that happens to everybody. We're human. We all feel like shit sometimes. It's just how it goes. It's a bad day, not a bad life. You know what I mean? That's what I always say. And yeah, like otherwise, I'm good. I'm just existing. It's all good. This life's too short to be anything but good. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just know your worth and know that everything's gonna be alright, and you got this. But anyway, yeah, I should probably wrap up the video there, start editing it, because I'm very sleepy. I'm just gonna be coasting through today. I gotta stay up for like another friggin' 12.5 hours yet, so that sucks. Because I don't do naps. If I nap, I can't sleep at night, so I gotta get through the day somehow. I'm probably gonna drink a Coca-Cola later, and, yeah, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, where I'll hopefully have, slept a bit more, and then we'll get back to gaming, yeah? But anyways, always massive shout out to all the patrons and channel members, to get all of you in the low baller tier, and an even bigger shout out to on the big baller tier, my last king, MB Daddy Manny, and the biggest shout out on D tier, random Luchi School. Thank you guys so much, guys, for the literal legends. I love you. Good on you, Dodoki, Arigatou gozaimasu. Have an amazing day, stay beautiful, I love you all. Peace.